My beloved child, do not click away. Do not let the loud distractions of this busy world pull you from this exact moment. You are here right now because my Spirit guided you here. I saw you looking for a sign today. I saw the quiet heaviness in your chest when you first woke up this morning. You are carrying a weight that I never asked you to carry. The constant pressure of your daily life is exhausting your soul. I see the bills sitting on your counter. I see the endless running, just to stay in the exact same place. I watch you open your eyes each morning and feel a wave of anxiety before your feet even touch the floor. The demands of your job, the expectations of society, the silent comparisons you make when you look at the highlight reels of others. It is breaking your spirit and draining your joy. You feel like you are wandering in an endless desert. You have prayed the same prayers for months, and maybe even for years. You have asked me for a breakthrough. You have asked me to open a financial door to heal your body, to restore your family. And lately, you have started to wonder if I am even listening at all. You look around and see people who do not even know my name, receiving blessings, buying homes, getting promoted, and finding love. And you sit there in the quiet of your room, asking me what you did wrong. Why are you the one constantly left behind? Why is your season taking so painfully long? You feel entirely forgotten. You feel like heaven has placed your life on an eternal hold. But I need you to listen to my voice right now. I am the Lord your God, and I do not make mistakes. Your tears have not been ignored. Your prayers did not hit the ceiling and fall back down to the floor empty. Every single time you cried out to me in the dark, I was standing right beside you, holding you together. I am speaking directly to your heart today to declare that your wait is officially over. The long, bitter wilderness is coming to an end. This week is going to mark a permanent shift in the trajectory of your life. Things are about to change forever. I am breaking the heavy chains of delay that have been holding you back. The invisible barriers that kept you stuck are being shattered by my sovereign power. You are stepping out of the season of bare survival and stepping into the season of divine abundance. But you must prepare your mind for what is about to happen. You have become so used to disappointment that you are genuinely afraid to hope again. You have built a massive wall around your heart to protect yourself from letdowns. I am asking you to tear that wall down today. Dare to believe again. Dare to trust that I have incredibly good things prepared for you. I know the world you live in is loud and unforgiving. I know the economy scares you, and the news brings you terror. I know the cost of simply living your daily life has become a heavy burden on your shoulders. You go to work, you pay your taxes, you try to do the right thing, and yet it feels like the current is always pushing you backward. The exhaustion you feel is not just physical, it is a deep mental and spiritual burnout. You are so tired of having to be the strong one all the time. You are tired of figuring everything out by yourself without a safety net. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is my permanent promise to you. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. I did not design you to carry the weight of your own future. I designed you to lean completely on my understanding. Let go of the desperate need to control every single outcome. Let go of the spreadsheets and the late-night mental calculations that only bring you fear and panic. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. Your provision does not come from your employer or the government. Your provision comes directly from my hand. The breakthrough that is arriving this week will not look like a slow, gradual improvement. It is going to be a sudden and dramatic shift. A phone call you did not expect to receive. An email that completely changes your career path. A sudden financial release that wipes away the anxiety you have been carrying for years. But there is a specific reason you had to wait this long. There is a reason I kept you hidden in the shadows while others were quickly brought into the light. You thought my silence was a punishment, but it was actually a profound act of love. I was doing something deep within your roots. I was protecting you from an invisible danger that you could not even see. Before I hand you the keys to this massive new chapter, you must understand what I was saving you from. You must understand what was truly happening in those silent, lonely years. If you do not understand the rigorous preparation, you will mishandle the incoming blessing. Listen closely to what I am about to reveal, because understanding your past is the ultimate key to unlocking the doors of your tomorrow. You have spent so many nights wondering why I let certain things happen to you. You asked me why that door closed so violently. You asked me why that relationship had to end when you tried so hard to save it. You cried when that job opportunity fell through. or when that financial breakthrough was suddenly delayed. In those moments you felt completely abandoned. You thought my silence meant I was angry with you, or that I simply did not care about your future. But my beloved child, you could only see what was right in front of you. I see the entire map of your life from the beginning to the end. The delay that broke your heart was actually a massive shield of divine protection. I had to close those doors because I saw the hidden destruction waiting behind them. That job that looked like the perfect step up the corporate ladder would have demanded your soul and destroyed your mental peace. That financial approval you begged for would have trapped you in a crushing cycle of debt you could never escape. That person you thought you could not live without would have slowly drained the beautiful light I placed inside of you. You cried over a loss that was actually a profound rescue operation. I was performing an invisible shift in the dark. While you were mourning what you thought was a missed opportunity, I was busy dismantling traps that the enemy had set for your future. I know how hard it is to live in a culture that worships speed and instant success. You look at your phone and see the highlight reels of everyone else living their dreams. You see them buying houses, taking vacations, and climbing to the top, while you feel like you are just barely surviving the week. The constant pressure to achieve the American dream has turned your mind into a battlefield of comparison and deep insecurity. You constantly measure your progress against people who are running an entirely different race. Stop doing that. Their path is not your path. Their timeline is not your timeline. I am the God who makes a way in the sea and a path through the mighty waters, just as I promised in Isaiah chapter 43 verse 16. I had to route you through the wilderness so you would not be destroyed by the counterfeit blessings you were desperately chasing. Now look at where you are right now. You survived the hardest days of your life. You are stronger and wiser than you were a year ago, even if you do not feel like it. The incredible resilience you built during this painful waiting period is exactly what you need to handle the massive blessing arriving this week. You see, the things I am about to release into your life are incredibly heavy. True abundance requires a very strong foundation. If I had given you this breakthrough when you first asked for it, your roots would not have been deep enough to sustain the weight of the harvest. You would have crumbled under the pressure of the new responsibilities. I am not raising you to be someone who just gets lucky for a little while. I am preparing you to be someone who can carry generational blessings. But the underground work is finally finished. The invisible shift is complete. Heaven has officially changed your spiritual status from waiting to receiving. The exact areas of your life where you experience the most severe delays are the exact areas where you are about to experience the most explosive miracles. The sudden financial turnaround you have been praying for is no longer just a distant hope. It is a scheduled event on my calendar. I am moving people and circumstances right now to favor you, but as we cross this beautiful threshold together, I need to warn you about something very important. The explanation for your waiting season is now clear, but there is one final obstacle standing between you and the open doors of this week. It is not an external enemy. It is not the economy or your past mistakes. It is a toxic habit hidden deep inside your own mind that you have been holding on to for years. It is a silent destroyer. If you do not release this specific mindset right now, it will poison the incredible new season I am bringing you into. Listen very carefully to what I am about to tell you, because this realization is going to change absolutely everything. That toxic habit I mentioned at the end of our last moment together is your deeply rooted belief that you do not actually deserve a life of peace. You have been in survival mode for so incredibly long that you have completely normalized your own suffering. You have grown so accustomed to the struggle that when things are quiet, your mind starts manufacturing chaos. Whenever something genuinely good finally happens to you, your first instinct is not gratitude. Your first instinct is panic. You immediately start looking for the catch. You brace for impact because your mind is absolutely convinced that the other shoe is about to drop. This is a severe form of spiritual imposter syndrome, and it is silently destroying the beautiful future I have planned for you. You look at the successful people in your society, the ones who are financially free and emotionally stable, and a quiet voice in your head tells you that you do not belong in that room. When you imagine yourself completely out of debt, living in a home you love, and thriving in your career, you feel a strange sense of guilt. You have allowed the relentless pressure of your culture to convince you that your worth is only measured by how much you suffer and how hard you hustle. You must break this mental agreement with failure right now. You are not an imposter. You are a meticulously prepared vessel. Think about the Chinese bamboo tree. For 5 entire years, the bamboo seed is watered and fertilized in the soil, but absolutely nothing happens above the ground. To the outside world, it looks like a complete waste of time. Your friends and family might look at your life right now and think the exact same thing. They wonder why you are not further along by now. But underneath the surface, in the dark, where nobody else could see the bamboo, was developing a massive underground root system. And then, in its 5th year, it shoots up 90 feet into the air in just 6 weeks. That is exactly what I have been doing with your life. You thought you were buried under the weight of your failures, but you were actually just planted. I was building your root system. If you had experienced sudden massive success 3 years ago, without these deep roots, the first major storm of life would have snapped you right in half. The money would have ruined your character, and the success would have driven you away from my presence. But now, you are spiritually unshakable. In Isaiah chapter 64 verse 8, my word reminds you that I am the potter, and you are the clay. I want you to really think about what happens to clay. You have spent years on the spinning wheel of life, feeling entirely out of control. You have felt the intense pressure of my hands shaping you and pulling you, stretching you far beyond your comfort zone. And then you had to endure the intense heat of the furnace, those overwhelming financial struggles where you did not know how you would pay for groceries, those lonely nights, crying in your car before walking into your house so your family would not see you break down. The moments where you had to force a smile at work and perform perfectly while your heart was completely shattered. That was never a punishment. That was the necessary fire required to harden the clay. A weak, fragile vessel will instantly shatter when you pour heavy gold into it. And I need you to understand that the blessings I am pouring into your life this week are incredibly heavy. To carry true wealth, to carry genuine influence, and to maintain a healthy, lasting relationship requires a tremendous amount of internal strength. You finally have that strength. You have officially graduated from the wilderness. You have passed the painful test of endurance, and I am so incredibly proud of the resilient person you have become. You are worthy of the good things arriving this week. Do not reject them when they show up, but I need you to stay highly alert as you step into these next few days. We are crossing a major spiritual threshold together, and you need to be aware of what happens in this specific territory. Because whenever you are standing right on the edge of a massive life-altering breakthrough, the enemy launches a very specific type of psychological and spiritual attack. He knows that his time is up. He knows he cannot stop the blessing from arriving at your front door. So instead, he will try absolutely everything to make you drop it before you can even open the package. This final attack will not look like a massive disaster. It is going to be incredibly subtle, and it usually hits you when you are right on the verge of your victory. I am going to expose his exact strategy to you right now, so you are not caught off guard. Listen very closely to how he will try to manipulate your emotions in the coming days, because your awareness is your greatest weapon. The enemy knows he cannot steal the physical blessing that is arriving this week, so he is going to try and steal your peace before you even open the door. The subtle attack I warned you about is a sudden and overwhelming wave of irrational anxiety. Have you noticed how your mind has been racing lately, especially in the middle of the night? You will be lying in your bed completely exhausted from a long day of working and providing for your family, but your brain absolutely refuses to shut down. The enemy starts projecting terrifying worst-case scenarios onto the screen of your imagination. He whispers that the economy is collapsing and that inflation is going to aggressively eat up everything you have worked so hard for. He tells you that a massive medical bill or a sudden emergency is waiting just around the corner to wipe out your savings. He wants you to wake up sweating and terrified of a future that has not even happened yet. This is a deliberate spiritual manipulation designed to make you drop your faith right at the finish line. Do you understand what is happening here? He is trying to trigger your biological survival mode because a mind trapped in survival mode cannot recognize a miracle when it arrives. I see the heavy physical toll this fear has taken on your body. I see the constant tension in your neck and shoulders. I notice your shallow breathing and that relentless knot of worry in your stomach that never seems to go away. You are living in a society that completely normalizes chronic stress. You are surrounded by a culture that proudly wears exhaustion and burnout like a badge of honor. People are running on empty, drinking caffeine just to survive the afternoon, and treating their severe anxiety as if it is just a normal part of being a successful adult. But my beloved child, I did not create you to live in a constant state of panic over your rent payment or your grocery bills. I did not design your beautiful mind to be a dark prison of endless financial calculations. You are carrying the weight of the entire world on your shoulders, and you are desperately trying to be the savior of your own life. You feel so incredibly isolated because you do not want to burden anyone else with your struggles. You smile at your coworkers, and you act completely fine around your friends, but on the inside, you are screaming for just one day of genuine rest. You do not have to be the strong one today. You do not have to figure out how all the complicated puzzle pieces of your future are going to perfectly fit together. I am the master builder, and I already hold the completed picture in my hands. I command you right now to stop projecting your past failures onto your future blessings. Just because you experienced severe lack in your past does not mean you will experience lack in your future. In the book of Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 and 7, I commanded you to be anxious for absolutely nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving to present your requests to me. And the beautiful promise attached to that specific command is a divine peace that completely surpasses all human understanding. It is a peace that makes absolutely no logical sense to the outside world. People will look at your life and wonder how you can be so calm amidst the chaos of the world. That supernatural peace will actively guard your heart and your mind like an impenetrable fortress. I am releasing that supernatural peace over your living room, over your car, over your bedroom, and wherever you are listening to my voice right now. Breathe out that heavy, stagnant energy you have been holding onto for so many long years. I am officially breaking the spirit of stagnation that has made your life feel like a repetitive, exhausting cycle of endless struggle. The dark days of living paycheck to paycheck, both financially and emotionally, are coming to a permanent end. I am wiping away the suffocating fear of not being good enough, smart enough, or qualified enough. You are completely enough because my Holy Spirit lives inside of you. I am fighting massive battles in the unseen spiritual realm for you right now that you know absolutely nothing about. The enemies of your peace are currently being scattered in every direction. Now that the heavy chains of anxiety have been completely broken off your mind, you are finally clear-headed enough to receive the specific instruction I have for you. I told you earlier that this week holds a massive life-changing breakthrough, but there is one specific action you need to take to fully align yourself with the open doors ahead. It is a simple but incredibly powerful shift in your daily routine that will act as a massive spiritual magnet for the incoming harvest. I need you to lean in and listen to this final directive very carefully, because it is the exact key that turns the lock. The exact key that turns the lock is a radical shift in your daily posture. Starting tomorrow morning, I need you to completely change how you begin your day. Usually you wake up and the very first thing you do is reach for your phone. You check your bank balance, you scroll through the endless negative news, and you let the heavy dread of the day wash over you before your feet even touch the floor. You immediately start calculating how you are going to survive the week. The instruction I have for you right now is this. Before you touch that screen, before you look at your calendar, and before you let a single worry about inflation or grocery prices enter your mind, you must speak out loud. You must say thank you. You must thank me for the victory before you even see the physical evidence of it. You must praise me in the hallway while you are still waiting for the door to open. This is the ultimate act of faith that violently disrupts the plans of the enemy. When you walk into your kitchen to make your morning coffee, do not walk with the heavy, defeated shoulders of a victim. Walk with the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who knows their breakthrough is already in motion. I need you to physically act like you have already received the miracle. Because, my beloved child, the shift that is arriving this week is going to be incredibly sudden. You have waited for months, and maybe even years, but the actual delivery is going to happen in a fraction of a second. In the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 13, I promised a time when the plowman would overtake the reaper. That means the harvest will arrive so incredibly fast that the seasons will literally overlap. Blessings upon blessings pouring out faster than you can even gather them together. You are stepping right into the reality of that exact scripture. I know you are deeply conditioned by the slow, agonizing grind of the modern hustle culture. You are used to fighting tooth and nail for a tiny promotion, or struggling for months just to pay off one single medical bill. You look at the cost of housing, the endless monthly subscriptions, and the rising price of simply existing in this world, and you wonder how you will ever get ahead. You have tried to budget your way out of poverty, but you cannot budget your way out of a spiritual drought. Only my living water can fix a drought, and the heavy rain of my favor is finally falling on your life this week. Heaven does not operate on a rigid corporate timeline. Heaven operates on divine acceleration. One single moment of my explosive favor is worth far more than a lifetime of your exhausting manual labor. This week, I am going to completely interrupt your normal exhausting routine. That regular morning commute, where you sit in traffic feeling completely numb and wondering if this is all there is to life, is going to feel entirely different. You are going to feel a sudden, unexplainable rush of joy in your chest. Pay very close attention to your inbox and your messages this week. That email you have been desperately waiting for is finally being released. The approval, the job offer, the financial clearance, it is all coming through. I know you sometimes ignore unknown phone calls because you are secretly terrified it is just another debt collector or another expensive problem you have to solve. Do not shrink back in fear any longer. The phone call that permanently changes your career trajectory and wipes away your deepest financial panic is already dialed. I am actively moving the hearts of managers, directors, and decision makers to favor you. Right now, people who do not even know why they like you are going to suddenly feel compelled to open massive doors for you. They will look at your resume or your application, and they will feel an undeniable push to choose you over absolutely everyone else. This is not a lucky coincidence. This is the carefully orchestrated hand of your Father, delivering exactly what was promised to you in the dark. But there is a very real danger in receiving a sudden massive blessing like this. If your mind is still heavily programmed for poverty, you will unconsciously throw away the wealth of the kingdom. If your heart is still deeply programmed for abandonment and betrayal, you will actively sabotage the beautiful, healthy relationships I am bringing to you right now. To carry the massive weight of this new era, you absolutely must upgrade your spiritual operating system. You cannot bring a paycheck-to-paycheck mentality into a season of absolute overflow. Your mind needs a complete structural rewiring right now. I have prepared a specific set of divine declarations for you. These are not just empty positive thoughts or wishful thinking. These are the exact spiritual blueprints you must speak over your life to secure the incoming harvest. Listen closely to the words I am about to give you, because you need to repeat them deep within your soul. Let these divine blueprints wash over your weary mind right now. For years, you have allowed the toxic programming of the modern world to dictate how you see yourself and how you see your future. You have absorbed the panic of the daily news. You have let the fear of a collapsing economy wrap around your throat like a heavy chain. Every time you swiped your card or looked at a bill, a silent voice whispered that you would never have enough. That voice told you that you were destined to be trapped in the endless, exhausting rat race forever. But right now, in this sacred moment, we are completely overriding that destructive code. I need you to speak these truths into the atmosphere of your room. I need you to declare them until your subconscious mind absolutely surrenders to my reality. You do not have to say them out loud if you are in a quiet place, but you must shout them deep within your own spirit. Declare this with me right now. I am no longer a prisoner to the spirit of poverty. The heavy generational curse of lack and financial struggle is permanently broken over my life today. I refuse to measure my worth by my bank account or my job title. My provision does not come from a fragile corporate system or a struggling economy. My provision comes directly from the Creator of the universe. I am stepping out of the agonizing cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The wealth of the kingdom is my divine inheritance, and I am finally ready to receive it. Do you feel the atmosphere shifting in your room as you agree with those words? That is the sound of heavy chains snapping in the spiritual realm. Now I want you to target the deep anxiety that has been living in your chest. Declare this truth over your mental health. Fear has absolutely no authority in my house. The midnight panic attacks and the relentless racing thoughts are officially evicted from my mind. I am guarded by a supernatural peace that completely defies human logic. When the world around me is panicking, I will remain anchored in absolute calm. I will no longer wake up with a feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach. My mornings will be filled with an unshakable joy and a quiet confidence. I am stepping into a season where my mind is a fortress of rest. My beloved child, you have spent so much time believing the loud voices of your critics and the quiet voices of your own insecurities. You have constantly apologized for taking up space. You have shrunk yourself down to make other people feel comfortable. It is time to shatter that false humility. Declare this over your identity. I am a meticulously prepared vessel. I am not an imposter, and I am not here by accident. The painful waiting season did not destroy me. It completely upgraded me. I am fully qualified for the massive doors that are opening for me this week. When I walk into a room, divine favor walks in right beside me. People are naturally drawn to the light that I carry. The opportunities that belong to me will never bypass me. I am worthy of profound love. I am worthy of absolute financial freedom. I am worthy of a life that feels incredibly good to live. Let those words sink deep into the soil of your heart. You are completely rewiring decades of trauma and survival mode in just a few minutes. You are trading your heavy burdens for my perfect peace. The days of you desperately trying to force things to happen are over. You no longer have to manipulate circumstances or exhaust yourself trying to convince people of your value. The right people, the right career moves, and the exact financial breakthroughs you need are being magnetically pulled toward you right now. But as you step into this massive paradigm shift, you need to be intensely aware of what happens next. You see, when you boldly declare your freedom and step out of the darkness, you become a massive target in the unseen realm. The enemy has lost his grip on your mindset, but he is incredibly angry that you have figured out the truth. He knows he cannot stop the physical blessings from arriving at your door this week, but he will try one final desperate tactic. He will try to attack your physical peace tonight when you close your eyes. He will attempt to send nightmares or sudden waves of unexplainable fear to steal the beautiful clarity you have just received. You cannot walk into this explosive new era without the proper spiritual armor. You need a permanent defensive shield placed over your life, your home, and your loved ones. Before you even think about closing this message or going to sleep, you must receive the ultimate seal of protection. I am about to release a very specific prayer over you. It is a divine covering that will make you completely invisible to the attacks of the enemy. Lean in closer, because this final blessing is the fortress that will secure your entire future. Close your eyes if you can, and simply rest in the sound of my voice. The spiritual armor I am placing over you right now is the eternal promise from Psalm chapter 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I am officially declaring that you and your household are completely off limits to the enemy. I am placing a divine seal of protection over your physical body, your mental health, your finances, and your family. The arrows that fly by day, the economic panics, the sudden layoffs, and the midnight terrors will not come near your tent. I see the invisible heavy armor you have been wearing just to survive your daily life. I see the thick walls you built around your heart because you were so afraid of being hurt or disappointed again. I am gently taking that heavy armor off of you right now. You do not need it anymore because I am your ultimate defender. You have spent so many years trying to protect yourself. You have exhausted your weary mind trying to anticipate every possible disaster before it happens. You calculate every dollar, you analyze every conversation, and you carry the crushing responsibility of keeping everyone around you safe. But tonight, you do not have to stand guard. You do not have to be the savior of your own story anymore. I am posting my highest and most powerful angels around your home right now. They are watching over your doors and your windows. They are standing guard over your mind as you prepare to sleep, or as you prepare to step into your day. You can finally let your guard down. Breathe out all the remaining tension in your chest. Breathe out the trauma of the wilderness. Breathe out the bitter memories of the people who walked away when you needed them the most. I am washing all of that away with my living water. Let the deep physical healing begin in your body right now. I command the tight knots in your shoulders to dissolve. I command the racing rhythm of your heart to slow down and perfectly synchronize with my peace. Every single cell in your body is being rejuvenated by my spirit. The chronic fatigue that has weighed down your bones for months is being permanently replaced by a supernatural vitality. You are going to wake up tomorrow feeling completely rested, energized, and deeply excited for the day ahead. I want you to sleep incredibly deeply tonight. For the first time in a very long time, I want you to sleep without a single worry about how you are going to pay your bills or how you are going to fix the broken pieces of your life. You do not have to fix them because I have already fixed them. You do not have to worry about funding your future because I have already released the immense provision you need for this new week. When you wake up tomorrow morning, the heavy cloud of depression and anxiety that usually greets you will be completely gone. In its place, you will find a quiet, unshakable joy. You will walk into your workplace or go about your daily routine with a completely different posture. People will look at you and wonder what changed. They will notice a new brilliant light in your eyes and a new steady confidence in your voice. That is the undeniable glow of my divine favor resting heavily upon your life. The toxic cycles of your past are officially broken. The generational curses of poverty and struggle have been severed forever. You are stepping into a season of unprecedented grace. Opportunities that you did not even apply for are going to track you down. The right people are being magnetically drawn to your light. The massive breakthrough we have been talking about this entire time is no longer a distant dream. It is your immediate reality. Your painful wait is completely over. The long dark night has finally passed, and your glorious morning has arrived. Do not shrink back when the blessing arrives this week. Do not let the enemy whisper that it is too good to be true. It is exactly as magnificent as I promised it would be. You have endured the intense fire, you have passed the agonizing test, and you have proven your incredible faithfulness in the dark. Now it is time for you to walk boldly in the light. If you feel my profound peace washing over your soul right now, I want you to do something very simple. Do not rush away from this holy moment. The busy world can wait a few more minutes. Linger here with me, in this sacred space. Let my presence completely restore your empty cup. If you truly believe that your season of waiting is permanently over, and you are finally ready to step into this massive blessing, I want you to type Amen in the comments below. Declare it into the atmosphere as a physical sign that you have received this divine seal of protection. Share this specific message with someone you know who is secretly battling severe exhaustion and feels like heaven has completely forgotten them. You might be the exact vessel I use to deliver their sudden breakthrough today. Subscribe to this space so we can continue walking this beautiful journey of faith together every single day. You are not alone, and you never will be. You are so deeply loved. You are so fiercely protected. You are my beautiful chosen vessel. Rest now, my beloved child. Your magnificent tomorrow is already secured.